What's up, everybody? Kalen Moss with Theory and Thacker, MinuteAdmin crew here. And Theory, and I was just going to let you keep going. You were saying you got the well, I just want to actually, before we get into that,
Yeah.
we're going to still keep going on single server, or sorry, what is it? Secure shell hash, SSH.
You got it.
Keys.
SSH keys. Yep.
And we're just going to figure out how this thing works and install this thing and just figure out a way to get these passwords.
I mean, honestly, we're just giving people access to do what they need to do from where they're at with our company, right? That's really what we're doing. We're giving them a very limited window of access to transfer and handle secure files with us.
Okay.
And I would hope that as administrators, we would tell these individuals that we're providing SSH keys for the fact that, hey, this is a very vital key. It's only going to last this amount of time, and then we're going to have to reset the password again because this is just a sensitive area for us to transfer documents and information and data about the company. So I just want to give you a heads up. I'm going to create this for you, but it's going to have a very small time window of access before we have to start over again and create a new key for you.
So, and what's up, Josh? Appreciate you jumping on the call.
Hey, Josh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Always, always. Happy Monday. Happy President's Day, my friend.
Yes,
sir.
Sir.
If you have kids, they're not at school today. I'm going to tell you right now, they'd be running around all over the house. Playing Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, whatever you got going on in the crib. Yeah. Eating cereal.
All the video games.
All of it. Yep. Yep. I mean, it's a 3-day weekend for them. Yep.
Yep.
And
what would you rather have?
From an IT standpoint, if you work for a bank, it's a 3-day weekend for you.
Yep. Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you prefer 3-day weekend starting on Friday or ending on Monday?
Oh, dude, give me Monday.
Monday's off?
It gives me that extra buffer of I messed up on Sunday and had too much fun. Either staying up too late, eating really rich food, and just having a big belly when I wake up Monday morning, whatever it might be. I love to have that buffer of I watched Wakanda Forever on Sunday at 11 p.m. I didn't go to bed till 2. You know.
I feel you, man.
Yeah,
for I don't know. Like back in college, I think I would have chosen Friday.
That makes sense though, because you want to get it started earlier instead of having the safety net at the end, right? You're like, I'm ready to kick it off now. But as a 41-year-old man, I'm like, oh, I need that safety net at the end of the weekend when I mess up.
Look, no delayed gratification back in the day.
That's right, dude. You want it now, dude. You want it now.
Oh, my God.
I love it. I love it.
Happy President's Day to everybody.
Yes.
We actually, let me get the timer going, and I'm actually going to get it going for the next 41 minutes because
let's do it.
We have something coming up after. So this is, we're still just going. We're still with hash keys. You've taught me a lot so far. And right now it's saying to use this thing called Putty Gin, which I looked up yesterday. And I actually am very curious about how to install, once you install on your machine, you can easily run it.
Yeah.
For the same go-to. I mean, it's used to generate public or private key pairs for creating SSH key. Below is complete. Okay.
And I mean, honestly, once you set it up, it's like any other tool you have on your system. It's as simple as clicking your Spotify to open it and clicking your Discover Weekly for the week. You know, once you have it installed and set up, you're literally just telling it where to go and what to do. And then you need the administrator on that side to say, hey, you want to come on over and bring those files to me? Here's the key. Here's the login. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So for Mac, So, do I have to use this little homebrew thing, or can I just download it?
I honestly don't know, Kalen. It has been since 2014 since I've done any kind of putty on a Mac. So I'm leaving that in your ballpark, man.
Here we go. I think it's. This is saying Windows. This is saying Windows, Linux, Mac. Let's talk about the steps to install Putty on a Mac operating system as a prereq. Oh, wait. Here we go. Users need the following apps installed on the system: command line tools, Xcode, and Mac ports. Okay. Install Putty. Mac users have this facility to use a Unix toolkit. Users have to use the terminal to access the kit. The tool package gives its users many tools, utilities, and compilers that include GCC, Perl. Many of the commands are found on Linux installations.
Linux installations by default, yeah, which I worked in college. Yeah, so all of our servers were Linux. Every computer we worked on at school was a Linux computer. Yep.
So go to the Apple developer site.
Yep. Which perfect sense. I can see right now that I can see right now that the code hasn't changed much on how to get it onto your Mac, how to get it set up. Because let's be honest, I told you yesterday, I go, they haven't even changed the image for the actual software. It is still the old 8-bit I'm playing Nintendo in 1987 image of you can count the actual cells and the computers connecting the file transfer, which I think is so funny.
Oh my! 1 second. Let me
stop. Oh, here we go. Time to get her set up.
Let's see. Okay. All right. I just had to lock in with that. Apple developer agreement. We own
Hey, there it is. They're like, hey, by the way, you could really mess up your computer.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's see. Okay. So now the next thing is log in and in the download section, and search for command line tools. Download section. Let's see. Search for command line tools. Download section. Where's the download section?
Oh man, I actually love seeing you go through this right now. This is fantastic. It's prettier than it used to be, but it's still the same old thing. Xcode, you're setting up your studio. Yeah, to develop, test, and distribute.
Xcode, okay.
That's what Apple code looks like, basically, right there. It's way prettier than it used to be, but that lives on your computer.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even my little MacBook Mini I have for traveling, I have a coding section in there. Like if you go to your deep dive apps. Yep. Simulator runtimes. I mean, dude, look, they even do Watch OS and tvS OS now. That's kind of cool. Funny story. I have the very first generation of Apple TV, and it is still running. still running like a monster. It's
Dude.
not giving me any 4K or anything, but it functions as the best hub ever. That's the best hub ever.
It has all the updates?
I mean, it has all the updates. It can't push new technology because it's OG. I mean, first generation. Actually, I don't even have a controller for it anymore. My controller is my phone because you can turn your Apple phone into your controller for your Apple TV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very convenient.
Bro, you can make, okay, so I wonder if you can do AMPscript in here.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we're looking at a different version of .io for AMPscript, but we're not going to know until we dump it in, see what it thinks.
For Apple developers, building an app. Download Xcode. Xcode right here. No operating systems available for download. Huh? So is it wanting me to... It says command line tools. Log in, search for command line tools.
Yeah, honestly, that should be built into your system. Like, so if I'd have to go get my MacBook, and navigate you. Oh, Joshua, what would be a use case for this? Okay, a perfect use case for this would be the fact that you have somebody out in the field, rather an engineer, somebody in sales, somebody that is transferring very pertinent company files and data to and from the company. A great use case for this would be setting up a 30-day key for them on let's just say a new job site, right? And there's a lot of very delicate documents being shared in between the team and our representative. Well, creating this SSH key will allow us to transfer files securely, no matter how sensitive they are, with this very specific key and username that we set up for this individual. So that would be a great use case for it. In my time, a great use case for this would be, I had engineers in the field that would be on very like rugged laptops connecting to the most basic signals to try to transfer me engineering specs to get over to the team. And an SSH would be set up to allow them to transfer those delicate files of engineering designs based on that site back to the company for them to start being drawn up and fabricated into real life, basically. Taking a design in, for perfect example, you take a drainage pipe that you only have the measurements for, and you turn that drainage pipe into a real living resin mold of a drainage pipe that is fit for that situation, that client, that area. So just like we create things for clients in IT, aka a journey, automation, whatever they might need from their Salesforce Marketing Cloud instance, it's the same kind of use case, right? You're on a client site. They're sharing very sensitive material with you, and you need to get that back to the office to start a design for, let's say, a new journey, a new email, very specific branding. You're transferring those files via a secure connection with SSH.
So what I'm seeing is,
yeah,
Xcode supports C, C++, Java, Python, Ruby, etc.
That makes sense. I know AMPscript's not on that list, but that's all right. AMPscript fits into, remember, so coding is a blueprint, and every one of these names we hear is a different language. So languages transfer a lot of words. So that's why AMPscript fits in so well with what I already know from the past.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are Mac ports? Open source community initiative to design an easy-to-use system for compiling, installing, and upgrading either command line X11 or Aqua-based open source software on Mac. So let's find a quick YouTube video. See if
let's do it. We'll see what we find.
Download PuttyGen on Mac.
Hey, Gabriel, how are you?
Thanks
for joining. Yep.
So we're looking at SSH keys, single shell hash keys, secure shell hash keys. And we're going to see how to actually install PuttyGen, which is a tool you have to download in order to get SSH keys running. So basically, there's a step involved that you have to download a software basically that creates the single server hash keys, the SSH keys. And then you use that SSH key to basically create a safe password between your file transfer protocol and Marketing Cloud, basically, right? Am I get that right? Okay.
You got it. So remember, tunnel for safe data transfer. So if you think about any heist movie or any kind of transferring, secure goods in a very protected area, that's what we're doing.
So it's a password on steroids, basically.
It is, yes. A password on steroids that expires very quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a Hulk carrying our data, and then he shrinks back down into Bruce Banner at the end. He's like, all right, it's here.
I love that. I'm not going to forget that. All right, let's see what this is saying here. Hey, that's 102 likes. Let's see. Okay, hold on. No words?
No words, just music.
Just music? Oh, man. I gotta love it. I don't even want to watch it.
Yeah, we need some words.
Yeah.
Oh, doesn't this look familiar to me?
I'll share you how to install Putty software in Mac OS Catalina. Most of the network users
this is like
need
working on your grandpa's car.
Right.
Devices account in Mac.
I got you, Gabriel. I got you.
Have only
where is Xcode? I'm trying to figure this out.
Dude, I'm kidding you. It's on your Mac. I guarantee you it's on your Mac already.
Let's see.
Yeah, so go. Don't make me go get my Mac and look it up, because I'm pretty sure it is built in.
It is. I just had to search it.
I told you. It's right there. All these people that use Macs don't even know that you have developer tools built into your Mac.
Bro, you know what it's saying?
What's that?
It says can't be installed because the Mac OS version 12.5 or later is required.
Yeah, you got to update, man. Listen,
update.
I'm going to put you on my email list with my mom about updating your devices and making sure they're up to code.
Oh, man. Okay. Let me do some homework on this.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I'm going to do some homework, and I'm going to get all this stuff set up as far as Xcode. Well, I got to update my Mac first, and then we'll
Ironside computers. Iron.
Oh, man.
I can't help it, man. I can't help it. Come on.
I got to get something that's more powerful. Something.
I told you,
dude.
You're not a consultant anymore. You're not a consultant anymore. It's time to be a big boy. Let's get that powerful PC in your house.
Developer tools only.
That one you add to your insurance for your apartment, like, hey, by the way, I got this computer inside. I need that insured just in case things go wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Find the PuttyGen one to be easy to use. So for this video, I'm going to download and use that one. We can go to the PuttyGen website, where you can see that this software is used to create public and private keys. So you can scroll down to the download section and download the appropriate version for our device. I'm using a Windows PC, so I'll download the Windows version. Installing PuttyGen is very easy. We just follow the installer wizard. If you're using a work device, you may need to speak to your IT administrator and get them to install this for you. If they ask why you need it, just point them to this video. So once the PuttyGen is installed, we can run the program. Make sure you run PuttyGen and not just Putty. When the program opens, you'll see Putty Key Generator as the name. With the program open, we can refer to the Salesforce documentation which says we need to create an RSA key in an open SSH2 PEN format, which can be done by selecting the RSA key type on the screen or selecting the SHA2 RSA key from the key menu. Documentation also says that a 4096 bit strength is recommended and a 2048 bit strength is a minimum. We can adjust this by editing the text in the lower right-hand corner. One thing to consider here is that your FTP client may have limitations on what types of key files it can use. I'm going to be using FileZilla in this video. At the time of recording, it can only accept keys using version 2, which means I need to go into the key menu and select parameters for saving key files and change the PPK file version to use version 2. If you have problems uploading your key file to your FTP...
What did he do that? What? Okay, he did.
It can only accept keys. I'm going to be using FileZilla in this video. At the time of recording, it can only accept keys using version 2, which means I need to go into the key menu and select...
How do you know that? How do you know that?
I'm going to be using FileZilla in this video. At the time of recording, it can only accept keys using version 2.
To know, that's a thing that he didn't really explain, but how do you know that your file transfer protocol place is only using that?
Dude, that is going to have to be based on who you're working for, your client. It's got to be based on your actual security team and what they're setting up. Even from an admin within Active Directory, outside of the security team, they're going to set up certain protocols that just where people just can't do certain things because they just don't need to, and they shouldn't have that permission to do so. We talk about this in assigning people the correct roles and permissions within Marketing Cloud, and not only Marketing Cloud, but Salesforce, of course. And you don't want to over permission somebody, because do they really need that? And what danger could occur outside of what they should be doing with the extra things that you've granted them? So that's why roles and permissions are just so important. So important.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out, like, I think I understand this concept of the type of key to generate and then the number of bits in a generated key. I get that.
Right.
He's talking about this part. This is what's confusing me.
Limitations on what types of key files it can use.
The types of key files it can use.
I'm going to be using FileZilla in this video. At the time of recording, it can only accept keys using version 2.
Keys using version 2.
Is that FileZilla that can only accept those keys using version 2? Okay, that's a FileZilla deal then.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. How did he figure that out? How do you know what that was?
Okay, let's see here.
Just a question.
No, that's a good question.
Because I need to go into the key menu and select parameters for saving key files.
Parameters for saving key files.
And change the PPK file. So
let's see what FileZilla PPK file version. FileZilla PPK.
I'm following that right now. FileZilla actually has a FileZilla Pro article about this topic.
It says how to use SSH private keys for SFTP.
And an important note is that importing a site's public key is not supported on this transfer.
Before connecting to a remote server, you'll need some connection information, the address and its port number, your user ID. Some servers don't require a login and will allow an anonymous connection. If you have an ID, your password for the server if you have a user ID, your password for the server, if that is required. This might be different to your usual password for the site. There are three mechanisms for use of the FileZilla client with SSH2 keys. Oh, so now we're getting SSH2 keys.
Mm-hmm.
In the profile settings in the site manager of FileZilla Pro client, if the protocol is specified, it's possible to specify the logon type as key file. So the way you're logging in basically is saying we're logging in with a key file. Specify the location of the private key in PPK or PEM format. Remember, there was a pub format, right? That we
so pub is like our image or what we want to send, and the PEM is the key, like the key code. Or if you go and get a duplicate key made to your house to give somebody to watch your animals, it's basically duplicating that key grind for that transfer, for that pub file.
Okay.
Yep.
The user is prompted for the key file's password, if necessary. In the edit settings menu of the FileZilla Pro client, you can add the key under the connection key file. SFTP and FileZilla Pro can use the public key authentication in the site manager with the interactive logon type. Importing a site's public key is not supported. Okay, so this is Windows only. To allow the use of RSA, DSA key files. Okay, so these are different types of key files. With FileZilla Pro, you'll need two tools from PuTTY. Pageant, and assuming your key file isn't already in PPK format, PuTTyGen. If your key file is already in PuTTy's PPK format, you can skip this paragraph. If your key is in open SSH format, you first need to convert it to PuTTy's PPK format. To do this, launch PuTTyGen. And from the conversions menu, select the import key option. Select your key and follow the prompts to enter your passphrase, save your private key. Now run Pageant. In your system tray, you'll see the Pageant icon appear. Right-click the icon and select Add Key. And select your private key.
PPK
okay.
File.
Okay, so I think does PPK mean private key?
So let's just find out exactly what PPK means. Let's see here. To get it down to the nitty-gritty, PPK is an index of process performance, which tells how well a system is meeting specifications. PPK calculations use actual sigma of the individuals, and shows how the system is actually running when compared to specs.
Okay.
So basically, process performance index is what PPK is.
Okay.
Yep.
Now launch FileZilla Pro and connect to your server using SFTP, using SSH2 with the username and an empty password. Don't forget to close Pageant when you're done. If your SSH agent is running, the auth sock environment variable should be set on a Mac. If for some reason you're not using SSH agent and on a Mac, you don't need to perform an SSH key conversion. Import your key via settings and then use normal logon type in your site connection definition. The imported key will get used. The following instructions assume you have a working SSH configuration, which allows you to SSH to the same host. They're adapted from a thread for your convenience. So step one, in FileZilla Pro, select the connection, SFTP, got that. Press the add key file button. Press Command-Shift-G. So let's see. FileZilla. Let's see. I'm just going to share my screen and just show FileZilla. So present, stop share, entire screen. Boom, boom. So in FileZilla, there's a new version. I'm going to install that. Actually, is that the smartest thing to do on a live stream? I don't know.
I told you there's a lot of prep work to get a Mac to do any of these things.
Yep.
I mean, a full day of prep work to get through all of these little nuances that a Mac needs to make any of this happen.
Oh, we go to settings up here. Can you see that, or is that super?
It's super small, but I'm not on my big monitor, so.
So settings, SFTP.
Mm-hmm.
Right here, it's just saying FTP.
Okay.
Press the Add Key File button. Where's the?
Do you see that option?
There's an overview section, a transfer mode, and the FTP keep alive, but there's no Add Key File button.
Dig at Mac number 58. All right, what do we got here? Open, check. Okay.
Oh, SF. Oh, right here.
There it is, right there.
To support public key authentication, FileZilla needs to know the private keys to use. So you press the Add Key File. Okay. Press Command-Shift-G. Hey, thank you, Rosalia. Happy President's Day.
Hey, Rosalia, happy President's Day.
Thank you. Happy President's Day to you. And Josh, yes, I'm never going to get over Theory and ragging on me for having a Mac.
I have a Mac, though. So I can't rag on you that bad.
Therian talks like he's just like he invented Windows or something. Windows and Linux.
You're talking about somebody that fought Windows for years and years and years. But I kid you not, when it comes to doing things like this, Windows is the superior system.
Yeah.
Only because of the initial setup for a Mac. But once you set your Mac up and you get comfortable with using those Windows and Xcode, it's the same thing. It's just a lot more footwork to get it to work.
Yeah. Next time we have our session, I'm going to have the new version. I'm going to download Xcode beforehand. That way, I'm going to do my homework so you can't rag.
Operating system eight versions behind.
Bro, I'm coming back with so much knowledge about tech, you can't rag anymore.
He's like, I'm wiping my computer. I'm rebuilding everything from scratch. Let's go.
Dude, yes. Oh my God.
Well, honestly, you're saying that to me. I want to go get my Mac now, my little itty bitty Mac, and go set it up just so I can bring it.
Right. I feel like I'm going to learn a lot about tech.
You are going to learn a lot about your Mac. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of the most deep dive personal sessions you ever have with your Mac. Yep.
Dude, I didn't even know what Xcode was.
You're never even going to understand that these things have been there the whole time.
The whole time.
So
much power right at your fingertips.
Absolutely.
So right now we're talking about SSH keys. I think what we should do is let's find a really good YouTube video for us and for the people out there watching.
Yeah.
To just really figure out a great explanation for what an SSH key is. Like a great, just a bomb explanation. Let's see. So there's these few things. I kind of like some of these videos that are, and it looks like I've already watched this, but let's see. Let's see what this is talking about. I'm going to stop screen and I'm going to share it again. What is SSH beginner get tutorial? Let's see. Let's see what this is all about.
Let's see what it is. Oh, that music though.
SSH. SSH is a network protocol that allows one computer to securely connect to another computer over an unsecured network like the internet. Without encryption, data travels over the web in plain text, which makes it easy for someone to intercept username or password data and then use it. However, SSH encrypts your data through a tunnel, so you can securely log into a remote machine, you can securely transmit files, or safely issue remote commands and much more. SSH is commonly implemented using the client-server model. One computer is called the SSH client, and another machine acts as the SSH server. SSH can then be set up using a pair of keys, a public key that is stored on the SSH server, and a private key that is locally stored on the SSH client. The SSH client, which is usually your computer, will make contact with the SSH server and provides the ID of the key pair it wants to use to prove its identity. The SSH server then creates a challenge, which is encrypted by the public key and sent back to the client. You as the client then take the challenge, decrypt it with your private key, and send the original challenge back to the SSH server. Once the negotiation is complete, the connection is established and you can get to work. Okay, so how does Gitkraken play a role with SSH? Well, instead of using your local machine as the SSH client, your local machine can use an SSH agent to negotiate with the SSH server as an additional layer of security and also convenience. While Gitkraken is not a traditional SSH agent that can be used by other applications, it can negotiate with SSH servers on your behalf. Navigate over to Preferences and click Authentication to access your SSH settings. If you already have a pair of SSH keys, this is where you can set a path to your public and private keys. Otherwise, you can also tell Gitkraken to just generate a new pair of keys for you. If you are already using any of the integrations like GitHub or Bitbucket or GitLab, you may either again just provide the path to your existing SSH key pair or tell Gitkraken to generate a new key pair for you. Gitkraken will then use these SSH keys to communicate to the SSH servers, and all actions between your local repositories and remotes will travel safely through your SSH connection. Okay, if you like this video, please subscribe to our channel or watch other videos in this series.
Okay, so what you're saying is basically, I always, for some reason, thought you had to create your own encrypted keys, but it seems like they're just randomly generated.
Well, I mean, remember, you're creating the access. You're setting the allotment of time they're allowed to have this private key to transfer that information, to create the handshake in between the company and the source that you're transferring that data on. So it is a created essence of a key that that only lasts. Imagine if your house key only lasted for 30 days and then you had to get a new house key to get into your house.
Right.
That's exactly what it is.
Gotcha.
That is probably one of the longest explanations for the fastest thing that ever occurs in between our system and somebody transferring information on a unsecured network ever.
Yeah,
I mean, we're breaking down something that we all take for granted every single day, filling in a password, using an authenticator, using SSO, scanning a barcode on a screen for something you need to log into because your phone recognizes that barcode to your device and it signs you in. Yeah.
Every day, huh?
Every day we're using these style of things. Yep.
Every day.
Yep.
Okay. So what it sounds like is there's just some setup required for me to install.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
The thing that's going to be like, there's just steps to
You just need to build the tunnel on your Mac. You have everything you need to do. You just need to build the tunnel underneath the river, right? To sneak that information to and from privately and securely.
And Windows already has that where you don't have to.
Essentially, it would only take me a matter of moments to get that set up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, it would only take me a matter, right? If I just used Xcode, right? If I just had that.
Well, there's going to be a lot of pre-footwork to you learning Xcode comparative to just adapting this to a Windows situation. But that's expected. You're using an operating system that is still not 100% accepted by the IT world.
Right, right.
You know, people that I worked with in large enterprise environments that wanted Apple, that wanted iPad Pros, blah, blah, blah. It was, and excuse me, but it was a pain in my butt to do any of that stuff for them because it was a whole different layout for every one of those devices.
Right.
A completely different layout. When I wanted to roll out an update to a Mac device, it was a different package. Right.
Gotcha.
I had to create a different package for that device, for that iPad, for that MacBook, whatever it might be. It's just not universal, right? It's just not universal. That's why it takes a couple extra steps to get it going. And it's not that I'm dogging on it, because I love Mac. I love Mac for the UI, right? I love the user interface of Macs. And it's funny that we love it so much, we don't even understand what's hiding in the background that we could use as tools. Because it's so pretty and it's so easy, you know?
Yeah.
And I kid you not, anybody that has older parents, Mac is the way to go. Get them out of a Windows computer immediately.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to get in trouble. They're going to click on things they shouldn't have clicked on. And Mac prevents a lot of that stuff. A lot of that stuff. Yep.
It does. Easy to use.
In order to connect, you will need the IP address or DNS name of your server and the private key file.
You at FileZilla
if you have only the password, configure your connection logon type as normal and use the password. Launch FileZilla or FileZilla Pro. Click New in the Site Manager dialog box to create a new connection. Select SFTP, SSH File Transfer Protocol as the protocol. Enter the IP address or host name of your server. Select Key File as the logon type. Now enter the username. And in the key file box, enter the path for your key file. If everything is correct, now you can connect. The unknown host key dialog is shown. You have to confirm this is correct. You can also choose to trust this server in future connections. Click OK to accept the host. FileZilla connects to the server with the configured key. In the right side, you see your directories and files. You can also use PuTTY's key agent to handle your key file. If your key file is not yet in the PPK format, you need to convert it first. You can use PuTTY Key Generator tool. Download and install PuTTY. You will find the link in this video description. In the Key Generator tool, load your key. Enter and confirm a passphrase to protect your key. You will need this passphrase later. Finally, save your private key in PPK format. Launch Pagent. The SSH key agent in the system tray, locate the Pagent icon. Right-click and choose Add Key. Select your private key file and enter the password you created earlier. The agent is now able to use your private key. Now back to FileZilla. Configure your connection. Change the logon type to normal. If the agent is used, you can leave the password field empty. If everything is correct, now you can connect. In this video, you learned how to connect to a SFTP server using a key file with FileZilla and FileZilla Pro. FileZilla Pro is fast and reliable. Plus, it supports a variety of other cloud protocols: Amazon S3, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Storage, Google Drive, Dropbox, Microsoft OneDrive, OneDrive for Business, Amazon EC2, Backblaze B2, WebDAV, and SharePoint. Are your web...
Bruh.
Yo, why? We got to reach out to somebody that's still creating this software. We got to update these pictures, man. Why are we using Minecraft style pictures? It's like I just chiseled down a block of ore and I got a hat out of it made out of 16 pixels. It's 2023. We've been using the same stuff for so long.
Dude, I'm just like, you're thinking about the pictures looking like Minecraft. I'm thinking about how many steps are involved just to get a generated key. I'm like, what?
Oh, it's a pain, dude. It's an absolute pain.
Oh, my goodness.
But remember, this is security, right? So if you have sensitive information, assets that you might be transferring, this is the way to do it.
It is.
Do it. Yep.
Okay, so we spend a whole day figuring out, or a whole 45 minutes figuring out just the foundational core thing you got to have for SSH.
Absolutely.
And that is our session. So
It
we're
is.
back
It
for the
is.
third SSH key session. We have it set, get it set up. See what we can show you, see what we can do. But yeah.
Yeah, we're almost there. We're almost there. And remember, all of this is leading up to just creating a single code and a single key for a single individual out in the field. Yep.
Well, hey, good session. I feel like I still learned a lot.
I did.
I didn't know this stuff 48 hours ago, so I'm happy.
Yeah. Hey, knowledge is power, man.
Knowledge is power.
Yep. From the roots up. From the roots up.
All right, man. Well,
I'll
see you later, and we'll do another video tomorrow.
Sounds good.
MinuteAdmin out. See you, everyone.
MinuteAdmin out. Bye, everybody.